Okay, bringing our products back to in-house and mainland here,
Yeah.
it makes more sense to have your product built up to where it's got a hotness to it. You know what I mean? To where it's attractive and people are buzzing around it before you think of leaving, going to mainland, so you can, build it in millions
Yeah.
by the millions. I mean, doesn't that make sense to kind of build it
It,
up
it
first?
it does. Well, it depends on what the product is, and like Doug said, it's if you want to get it built here, the cost of tooling and everything is for most typical products. You're basically pricing yourself out of the market, unless you're a boutique product, a high price point item. If you're trying to compete, say for example, you're doing a Go Pro accessory, right? There's a certain price point people are going to pay for that. If you try and manufacture here, you're not going to get it made for that price. I don't care who you are. See, if you're going to do that, the guys that do manufacture here are the Procter and Gambles and companies like that, that when they do it, they're going to set up large production runs and they're going to automate it all. So they can afford to set up the automation on lines that are running 30, 40, 50,000 units per day. So these are kicking out pretty high volumes. So it's worthwhile going in and setting up a whole new production run. It's extremely difficult unless you don't have very much assembly. So if your product, say for example, same again, that plastic container sitting there, there's very much post-production finishing on that. There might be some deburring, but after that, slap a sticker and you're done, right? In that case, a lot of times it's feasible to get it done in Mexico or Canada. Some of the things that we used to do at Office Depot was if we wanted to, say, have something made in the US, and we're fairly adamant on it, we had a lot of government contracts that demanded that. What we'd do is we'd find one of our vendors in China, we'd tool it up, we'd make 20,000 units to test to make sure everything's right. There's other things that go into that. You have to make sure the tools are designed for the right machinery. Then what would happen is we'd have those 20,000 units shipped along with the tool back to the United States. Then we would move that tool to Mexico, one of the facilities there, or here in the United States. Then we bring production back up and running there, and then the first 20,000 units we sold through, then essentially everything else is made in America. We're paying, a quarter of the cost on tooling compared to what it costs in the United States. But like I said, it gets a little bit tricky. You got to make sure if it's designed for a certain machine, a lot of the machinery they use in China are German, US, but they also have a lot of Chinese machines. If it's designed for a Chinese machine and you ship it across here and it's going to be one of the German machines, the tool's not going to fit with the machine. The cooling lines are going to be in a different place. So you have to be pretty specific when you're doing that. But in my experience, honestly, I actually do some of my own products as well. I have tried for 4 years to get them made here, and short of setting up, a machinery myself here and doing it myself, and even then, it's more of a for me, it's a love for the product more than the price point itself. It's just really not feasible doing.
I can give an example. So, Doug and Grant can't speak price for consumer products that we work on here, but I can speak about my own. And we have a simple plastic product. It does have some overmold. Actually, has a lot of overmolding on it. But it's, in the scheme of things, it's a pretty simple product. Very easy to assemble. My unit cost from China is $350. It cost me about $4 landed in the United States. And I got a quote. My cheapest quote that I got from the United States when we were looking at doing it here was $13.50. I'm trying to sell this product at wholesale for $15. And down to $9 a unit for volume.
So when you do your average 4 times calculation, plus or minus, you see where it makes such a huge difference,
Yeah, $120 product versus a $40 product.
Exactly.
Yeah. That being said, there are other ways you can do cheaper here. There's prison labor. They do injection molding in prisons. But realistically, most products are made in China for a reason. Again, it's labor.